Welcome to HDPP Live on a Saturday night to the UK and around the world with photos, memories and friends. This is HDPP Live. How are you this evening? Are you all well?
Hinckley District has the present for you, meeting friends old and new. Streaming Wednesdays and Saturdays too, with founder members Paul and Sue. The smiles that we bring are a heritage thing. HDPP, keeping history alive. HDPP, streaming HDPP live. Where local memories survive. HDPP, streaming HDPP live. Film clips, photos, memories and friends helps a dreary night go by. We're in Hinckley, six of the best, stupendous, quizzical high. The smiles that we bring are a heritage thing. HDPP, keeping history alive. HDPP, streaming HDPP live. Where local memories survive. HDPP, streaming HDPP live. Let's take you back in time. A community affair. We'll take you for a ride. Henson's Cab will take you there. We're making history. HDPP, chatroom pauses. History aside. Local pauses. Streaming HDPP live. Betty is our queen bee. The sweetest honey candy. Dangerous Den here again. HDPP live. Hey, you know we keep it in HDPP.
Oh my word. Good evening, hello, welcome, come on in. Sit down, there's some seats there. Lovely, welcome to HDPP Live. It's a Sunday night and once again, old Baldy's here. And, well, let's say it, I don't mind. It's great to have you all with us this evening. Loads of people already in the chat room. Now, I don't know what night you tend to watch this. A lot of our viewers are here live, as you can see in the chat room. Other people watch us at their leisure, other times of day, which is fine. No, I've got no problem with that. That's fine. The fact that you're actually here and watching is a big thing. And as I always say, please, as I scroll up to the top here, don't forget to like and subscribe, because it really does help with our antibiotics, or analytics, or whatever. Anyway, first over the threshold tonight was my brother Steve. Hi, Steve. That surprised me. He even got a signal down at the farm. So nice. And we had a nice evening, me, my brothers, sisters, together last night. So that was quite nice. And it was better when it quietened down a bit, because a bit noisy to start with. In my ears were ringing, but there you go. Anne's here. Hello, Anne. She says, good evening from Wall. I have my hand in plaster. I hit a hole in my micro scooter. Chipped bone. Oh dear, Anne. I hope you're going to be fighting fit for when you come and join us in Westminster. There we go. And Dave B tonight, who's watching, he's got me on two screens. They sick him here, they sick him there. You know the sort of thing. Thank you, David. I don't know why I'm deserved of two screens on a narrow boat somewhere. But still, thank you very much, mate. That's good. David Allen is here, wishing everybody a good evening, all the way from Boston in Lincolnshire. And Daniel Coburn's with us. Daniel, yes, we had one or two technical issues at the studio over the weekend. It's been resolved. It will be sorted. So it made things a little bit more restricted than what we normally do. But hey, it was still okay and good that you managed to join us. Queen Bee is here as well. We went to see Queen Bee this morning because I've found a bit of time in my busy schedule. So it was nice to go and see Queen Bee, sit and have a coffee and chat away. Jan Kerb is here along with Kath Denny, of course. Good evening, both. Nice to know they're here. And Kit's here. Kit. Listen, you've been in my dreams, Kit. Not that sort of dream, I'll have it. No, the plague. Yeah. Whenever me and Kit get together, we start talking about the plague. Yeah, we just like doing that. I've submitted an entry to the Hinckley Times, actually. We're going to try and crack that nut for you. So I've done an article about the plague in Hinckley. It will be featuring in the Hinckley Times. I think it's next week, Kit. So I just want to tell you, I've been meaning to tell you. And I know I'll probably see you on Wednesday night at the presentation night, so I'll tell you all about it then. Anyway, Kevin Beasley's here. Hi, Kevin. Nice to know you with us this evening. And I did also see that not only the Starnbers here, not only is Perkins here tonight, Carol Beasley's here as well. So listen, we're all together. I'm just waiting for the crops. I'm sure they'll be in a minute. Jeff Wallace is here. Good evening, Paul, Sue and all from me and Brig and Anna and Hinckley. And no helping Annabelle with her homework tonight. She should have got it done the other day. She's left it all week. It's back to school tomorrow. I think, oh, I haven't done my homework. How many of us can remember doing that? Yeah. Anyway, also, Kay's here tonight. I had Kay Norton. And as I say, we've already said hello to Kath Denny this evening. Gary Betterley, hello, matey, you all right? Lost me like a button, found it now then, so hello. Well, yes, he didn't know which button to press. Nice to know you there. Oh, the crops are in now. We can start now, Sue. All right. Yeah, like she'll come running in now. She knows that we can start. Oh, and Mr. Smuggley's just come in. Oh, hello. Did I tell you I work at Myra? Yeah, well, you see, he's here as well. Okay, in the programme tonight, regular features, of course. The ever-popular Six of the Best is here, testing some of your local knowledge and general knowledge. That'll be with you very, very shortly. We've also got a great nosy tonight. It's brand new. It's a brand new nosy, only been posted in the last couple of hours for Mr. Nosy, and it's down our neck of the woods. You're going to love it, seriously. I haven't even had a chance to watch it myself, but I've got it ready to play out a little bit later on as well. We have our London Calling feature, and we'll also be having a bit of a reminisce about things we used to see around the streets, not necessarily of Hinckley, but were common in lots of streets up and down the towns and around. We'll be doing that very shortly as well. So if you've got nothing else better to do for the next hour, then stay with us because it'd be great to see you. Let me just update you with a couple of things. The Marjorie Payne story, thanks to HDPP, has really gone so well. I am absolutely bowled away. Let me just put this on the screen. The Hinckley Times put us a lovely piece in the local paper and said last week we achieved the target. But I'm delighted to say, we're well on the right side of giving Marjorie a nice plaque on her resting place in Hinckley Cemetery. This is the full story, which you can see in the Hinckley Times. I was really pleased with this bit, actually. So fantastic. And so if you did donate, thank you very, very much. It means a lot. And it's the very, very least that this town can do for this very, very generous lady. And at least her name now will be known for future generations, because before this has happened, not many people knew the true story of Argent Mead and the name Marjorie Payne. I want to put that right, and thanks to HDPP, it's happening. So if you've helped in any way, shape, or form, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'm sure I can say that on behalf of Marjorie herself. I'm sure somewhere she will know about this. I really, really mean that. And on Wednesday night, it's the presentation night, our biggest night of the year. Now, listen, get there early. Because it's a full night. I mean, it really is. By the time our guests come in, our good causes come in, who occupy the middle tables, we are very, very full normally that night. So I always suggest you get there early. Okay, so that's this Wednesday night. Looking forward to it. Going to be a great night, and see where your generosity, the stuff that you've been buying raffle tickets and supporting us all the way in the last 12 months. Now you can see to some of the charities to which we have given. And as I've told you, and as I will be announcing officially on Wednesday night, that since we started way back in 2015, we have donated a massive £30,000 to local good causes. You have made that possible. So once again, thank you very, very much indeed. That's great. Okie dokie, we're almost time for six of the best. And have you got your pens and papers ready? You're going to need some. And I've not even put the questions on yet. And Mr. Smugly says, I've got the anagram. How does he do that? No, I'm joking. I'm joking. Carol Beasley, by the way, I've treated myself to a G&T tonight. I need to recover from my stroll down Chapel's Drive. Oh, well, you put your feet up and give them a little wiggle as you hold that drink and watch six of the best. Because here we go. Remember, no putting the answers in because people will steal them off you. Let's start with six of the best. And here we go. Question number 1. What words are on the clock face of Sapcut Church? Paul, where did you get that from? You see? That. What words on the clock face of Sapcut Church? Now, stop it. I can see a lot of people going straight to Google. Stop it. Try and do it without Google, eh? You get that extra smugness point when you know what it is. And so there you go. What are the words on the clock face of Sapcut Church? Well, now's the time to find out, you see. These are the things you wouldn't know. You say, did you know the clock face of that church says blah, blah, blah? It says, tune in live to HDPP. Did you know that's what it says? No, but I'm giving you an idea. So there you go. That's question number 1, your local question. Question number 2. And I didn't know this. This was a surprise. What country has the most islands in the world? And you could have knocked me down with a feather when I found the answer out to this one. Ooh. And Jeff Wallace says about the clock face, is it 1, 2, 3, 4? Jeffrey, behave now. So, there we go. What country has the most islands in the world? Maybe Jeff will get that one. Maybe he's flew over a lot of them. But I was well impressed. Question number 3, find the words. Listen, here comes the smugly bit. I must get a sound effect for a smugly sound. I'll see what I can find. There you find the words. TV programme, that's all I'm saying. TV programme, say no more. I'm just leaving this on the screen so you can get your dashes and dots. We will show you this again in just a few moments' time. Jeff Wallace says, I do know about the islands. Oh, you see. Come back to that in just a minute. Moving on. Once again, I'll go through all these questions one more time. Here is the guest of the year when Britain and Argentina restored full diplomatic relations. We lost the singer Del Shannon this year, and Mike Tyson lost his heavyweight title after he was knocked out by James Buster Douglas. But what was the year? Ready for where are we? Where am I? I'm saying no more, but a lot of people should know that, but I'm saying no more. It's not in Hinckley, it's very, very close by. So where am I? I think I did then, Mrs. G. I felt a smug wave then. I really did feel a smug wave. And finally, onto the anagram question. Here we go. A cute, nonchalant squad. That's our anagram for this evening. We're looking for a local village with an interesting historic transport feature. Mrs. G knows it because we thought about this one the other day. I don't know where it suddenly came from, but I think we may have had it before. But it's a different anagram, but same place. Ha ha! Lovely. So there, ladies and gentlemen, is your 6 of the best this evening. Let's go through them one more time. Question number 1. What words are on the clock face of Sapcut Church? You'll all be heading off to Sapcut tomorrow to go and have a look at the church. It's true, there are words on the clock face, and it's not made in Hinckley. I just want to clear that up now. It's nothing like that. Question 2. What country has the most islands in the world? Mr. Wallace knows that one, apparently. So a little smug wave going to Jeff already this evening. Question number 3. This is Find the Words, and it's a TV programme from quite a while ago now, to be fair. But I'm not going to give too much away in this, because I think I just give too much away. I'm far too generous. Right. Now, so if you've got all your that's the title of the programme. It was a predominantly a children's programme, actually, which I seem to remember running in this, I think it was actually in the 70s and whatnot. But anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. Paul, stop it. Don't do no more. Number 4. Britain and Argentina restored full diplomatic relations in this year, while we lost Del Shannon, who was age 50, and Mike Tyson lost his heavyweight title after he was knocked out by James Buster Douglas. What was the year? Oh. Where am I? Yes, these gates lead to a totally different sort of world, but where am I? And the anagram this evening, there we go. A cute, nonchalant squad. It's a local village with an interesting historic transport feature, and Jeff Wallace has already got it. He's too clever for his own good, that man, sometimes. He really is. You mean you beat Mr. Smugly on that one? Yeah, probably. So there we go. Now remember, we'll keep repeating 6 of the best throughout our broadcast this evening, and like I say, we'll give you the answers after, at the end of the programme, okay? Right, okay, meanwhile, back at the ranch, let me just remind you that we've got our trip to Westminster. Now, listen, this is going so well, we've almost filled the bus, but if you're thinking about you want to come, well, please get in touch, because the seats are going like mad at the minute. Well, pretty well anyway, to be totally fair. I know we've only got literally a small handful of seats left. Now, this is going to be a great day. Leaving Hinckley at 8:15 in the morning, and we will get down into the Palace of Westminster, sort of mid-late morning, and we'll be having a tour around the Palace of Westminster, and we hope to be returning. Like I say, we should leave London sort of about 4 o'clock-ish, and we'll be back by early evening. So there we go. So I could do with updating that particular post, but there we go. You get the general gist. It's going to be great, and I'm sure we'll all be singing the HDPP song on the way back, and probably a little quiz if we get a chance to do one. Who knows? But however, good. Going to be a super time. Okay then. Right, we'll move on with the feature tonight then. This little feature. I knew you were going to say this little piggy went to market. Too much time with the grandchildren, you understand. Right, scenes that we would have been seen around the streets of Hinckley, and yet indeed any town. And I thought these were well worth just giving a little show of it. Now, I'll put a little bit of music on behind it. So let's just see what we can see. What memories. This was by a gentleman who took them around the Bristol area. But a lot of these images you would have seen around the streets of Hinckley. So who remembers the milk hand cart coming round? A lot of people can remember these sort of things. The baker's hand cart. I remember the co-op baker coming to the door. So a bit more of a modern version than that. And the baker's horse cart. Seen many times in the Fosters up in Burbage. Yeah. So once again, these are here to sort of just provoke memories for those of you that probably can remember. Can you ever remember seeing an apple seller in the streets as well? So popular. And the poor match seller. Look at that little urchin, bless him. Whether there any round Hinckley, I'd never know. Like a wooden toy seller would have made the toys all himself and sold them on. How special and fantastic. I've never heard of a flycatcher. And that's the truth. A flycatcher. But yes, the rat catcher indeed would have been, a very good job to have, I would have thought. A paper Sally. Maybe you can tell me what a paper Sally is. Please do. Newspaper sellers. Can you remember selling the newspaper on the street? I can at Hinckley bus station, the Leicester Mercury in the evenings. Definitely remember that. Fish seller's cart. Well, we've got modern versions of those today in Castle Street. And here's a picture just like Folks's shop at the top of Castle Street, isn't it? A cockle lady. Well, we probably wouldn't have had cockles round here as such, being that we're so landlocked from the sea. The rag and bone man coming round. The rag and bone man shouting down the street, Ragbone, Ragbone. And we used to come out and sometimes he'd give you a penny for the rags and stuff. And of course, the horse was always an attraction. And indeed, the rag and bone man hand cart going round. Still in the 60s, you would see such sights actually, as the slow transition from the horse to the motor car became permanent. Here's the escape airman from Hello Hello. And the knife grinder. Yeah, heard of all these. Can you ever remember seeing any of these in your childhood? Fruit and veg sellers. Yes, very much so. And of course, the ice cream vendor. I stopped me and buy one. Even my dad did that for a little while, selling ice creams. Like Mr. Aubrey, who used to have one of these round the streets of Hinckley. Window cleaners still about today, although they don't they use all them high pressure hoses now, don't they? They don't go up ladders like this because of health and safety. What memories has that brought back for you? Can you imagine? I mean, you probably, indeed, like I said, I like what Alan Kropp said. Me great-granddad told me about these things. Yeah. There we go. I love that little feature. I thought that was great. Lovely to see that. And like I say, lots of the things that would have been on the streets of Hinckley. And I thought that was well worth giving you a little go. I'm just looking in the chat room now to see what's going on there. People are behaving themselves. That's good. And it's nice to say that Steve is here from Let's Explore. Steve, we've got your latest video. I'm really looking forward to seeing it. Not had a chance to view it properly myself yet because obviously the time in question. So we'll be doing that shortly. You've not missed it. So if you want to say hello to Mr. Nosey, Mr. Nosey's in the chat room now. And there we go. Right. Actually, Steve joins it as a real good. Yes. Can anybody tell us what a paper Sally? What's a paper Sally? I agree, Jan. I don't know. I'm going to ask the person that knows everything. Sue, what's a paper Sally? No, she just go. Maybe Queen Bee might know. Do you know Queen Bee? I mean, I don't know. A paper Sally. I wonder if she just sold paper or something. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, Jan Kirby, Google it. I know. Let's ask John Denny. He knows everything too. He's so smug. We want to know, what is a paper Sally? Someone is going to find out and put it in the... Oh, Annabelle says, I'm goggling it as we speak. All right, there we go. Steve joins us as just a nice time, actually, because in a moment we're off for a little mini nosy in London Calling in just a moment. Gary Betterley says, I remember the rag and bone man told to run after the horse and pick up the manure. Yeah, we'll have some of that on the garden. Absolutely. Yeah. I can remember, this is a true story, and I may have told you many, many years ago. When the carnival used to line up in our road outside it at the very start of the carnival. And one year my neighbour, bless him, who's no longer with us, he was there watching it, and right outside was the horse and carriage carrying the mare. Well, the horse did its business while it was waiting to go, so my neighbour went out with his bucket and his shovel, shovels it up, puts it in the bucket, holds it up, and right under the mare's nose says, gets the roses up, this does. And that's the truth. I'm not joking. If Sue remembers it. I mean, we could not believe it. Bless him when he did. It was so interesting because that's the sort of, he didn't do it in any malicious way. That was his nature. This will get the roses up this way. Tis true, tis true. Anyway, right, as we wait for the answer to what a paper Sally is, going to be interesting, we'll have our London calling feature. Now, this is like little mini noses in London, but very quickly. And this guy, really, really interesting. And I always put 3 or 4 together to make it worthwhile doing it. So, let's do our London calling. Here we go.
Let's have a look inside the oldest room in Westminster Abbey. This low vaulted room, originally part of the undercroft of the monks' dormitory, is known as the Pyx Chamber. The abbey began life as a small monastery around 960 AD, before Edward the Confessor replaced it with a large abbey church in the 1060s. The majority today dates from a 13th century rebuilding, but the Pyx Chamber dates from 1070. It was made into a treasury in the 13th century, with this set of double oak doors installed for extra security, and its name comes from the Latin pyxis, for a small box, relating to the chests in which silver and gold pieces were stored. Since the 12th century, the trial of the Pyx has taken place every year to check a sample of new coinage, and the stone table seen at the end here was once used to test the silver. It is one of the oldest judicial procedures in England, and today takes place every year at Goldsmiths Hall in the City of London. So make sure you don't miss the Pyx Chamber if you visit the Abbey. Tucked down a little side street called Fen Court in the heart of the financial district, you will find a powerful sculpture. It is called Guilt of Cain by sculptor Michael Visocci and commemorates the abolition of the slave trade in 1807. The columns here could be seen as sugar cane, or possibly a crowd bidding at an auction, or a church congregation. The pulpit can be seen as a slave auctioneer's podium or a church pulpit. Carved into them are the words from Lem Sisay's poem Guilt of Cain that weaves together the language of the city's stock exchange with references from the Bible. The reason it's here specifically is because of this church around the corner, St Mary Walneth. The rector here from 1780 to 1807 was a man called John Newton. Newton was a mariner initially and captained slave ships, but ended up becoming a rector. He's best known for writing the words to Amazing Grace, but also became a key member of the abolitionist movement, writing about his experiences. So next time you're in the area, check out this thought-provoking sculpture. Bedroom has a tragic history. It is where poet John Keats found out when he was just 24 years old that he was dying. It was also, though, in this parlour downstairs where he wrote some of his most famous and enduring poetry. They can be visited at what is now known as Keats House in Hampstead, but was built in 1816 as Wentworth Place. Poet John Keats rented the 2 rooms here from 1818 to 1820. It is where he found inspiration, particularly after falling in love with another tenant called Fanny Brawn. In February 1820, Keats returned to the house after a day in London with a terrible fever. He collapsed into bed and started coughing up blood. He soon realised he was dying of tuberculosis or consumption, as it was known then. In September, his friends raised money to send him to the warmer climate of Rome, where he died 5 months later at the age of just 25. In his lifetime, his works were not particularly well known, and he died not knowing that he would later be considered one of the country's greatest poets. These are my top 10 historic pubs in London. The beautiful creaky Old George Inn in Southwark, the last remaining galleried coaching inn in London. The Old Cheshire Cheese on Fleet Street, rebuilt after the Great Fire in 1667. The Spaniards Inn, isolated at the top of Hampstead Heath, a pub mired in myth and legend. The Old Mitre, tucked away down an alleyway in Holborn, surely London's most hidden pub. The Grapes, an amazing 18th century riverside survivor in Limehouse. The Blackfriar, named and decorated after the Blackfriars Monastery that once stood here. The Old Dr. Butler's Head, named after an eccentric physician in the court of King James I. The Dove in Hammersmith, a cosy riverside pub with plenty of literary connections. The Seven Stars in Holborn, which possibly has parts dating back to 1608. And finally, the Prospect of Whitby in Wapping, a historic haunt of mariners, pirates and smugglers. What are your favourites? Let me know if they're...
And he finished a bit early, but it's the way I have to grab the video. It's not very easy to do. But there we go. More interesting little bits about London. And I love them little alleyways. And imagine going down that little tiny alleyway and then a pub being there, the Old Might. Oh, I'd love to see that. I'd love to go. I bet they haven't got those great big stupid screens in there. Oh, fantastic. There we go. And we do that every week when I get time to put the film together. Right, okay, let me just remind you dates for your diary, by the way. And, of course, we've got our night with Joseph Barsby and team of Seller & Co. on Wednesday, the 20th of March. Still 1 or 2 tickets available if you want to come along. Not a problem at all. They are free tickets. They're just there so we can gauge how many people are going to be joining us on the night. Now, listen, now, I'm telling you now, if you want to come along and dance the night away, it's going to be a great night. Now, this is going to be a one night only. The idea is we're going to resurrect the old Black Diamond disco. Yeah, that's my old disco. It's a one night only. Me and another great one, Stephen Brooks. Between us, we're going to do the disco. It's going to be a typical 60s, 70s disco. It's just a fiver. Come in. It's a great fundraiser for HDPP. And it's only, and because it's our age, it'll all be done and dusted by 11 o'clock. Starts at 7:30. And you can bring your own crisps, your nibbles, a bit like you do on the Christmas party night, except we'll have the disco. And we'll be glam rocking the night away. We'll have a bit of Tamla. We'll be doing the bump. Can you remember doing that? And we're doing the old rowboat song. If we can get back up onto his feet afterwards, who knows what we'll be doing with dancing around those handbags. Come and relive those happy days, and we're going to be doing it on Saturday, the 6th of April at the Greyhound. It's going to be great, but listen, we can't, I must stress this, we can't reserve tickets. Unless we can reserve your tickets as long as you've paid for them, but we can't reserve them until they've paid. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because interest is starting to mount on this, and what I don't want to do is say we've sold the ticket allocation, because it's a set amount of people that we can have in the room, obviously. So if you're thinking of coming or you can't make your mind up, listen. Get your ticket. That's the best thing I can do. I can't hold them back unless you pay for the ticket. If you say, Paul, I'll send you over the money now, that's fine. We'll put the ticket aside because then we know the ticket's sold. So there you go. Mrs. Smugly says she might even get John to dance. That'll be something. Well, how would you do the Smugly dance? Ladies and gentlemen, let's all learn how to do the Smugly dance. I'd be interested to see that, Kath. Okay, jolly good. But anyway, there we go. So if you want to come, and of course, all this goes to our new fundraising round for local good causes. So there we go. And I did feel a wave of smugness there. Smugness, as you can see, he's now got the TV show, you see. You also got to get this smug sound effect. Yeah. He only got it because he works at Myra, you know. Right, okay then, let's move on. Now, 6 of the best, and then we'll get on to our nosy. Nosy's a good one tonight. Seriously, a real good. They're always good, but he's been down our neck of the woods, so it's going to be good. First, let's go over 6 of the best, in case, because Jan says, I've got the anagram, but no TV programme. Well, let's go through it one more time. In question 1, I'm asking, what are the words on the clock face of Sapcut Church? Yeah. It's quite apt, actually. It's quite an apt thing that's written on the church clock face. Question number 2. What country has the most islands in the world? And that really did surprise me. So try and do it without Google, please, because John throws in those extra smugly points for you. Question 3, find the words. It was a children's TV programme, bit on the science fiction side. Yes, it was. It was a science fiction children's programme, Jan. There's your clue. Don't say I don't give you a clue. Yeah, there's your clue. All right. Oh, Jan wants a clue on the clock as well. The clue would be for the clock. The words are quite apt for the clock. That's the only thing I can really say. Gary Betterley says, is it in God we trust, others pay cash? Will you behave yourself? Question number 4. Guess the year. This was the year that Britain and Argentina restored full diplomatic relations. The death of Del Shannon, he was age 50, and Mike Tyson lost his heavyweight title. But what was the year? And where am I? Through these gates leads to a totally different world, very close by. But where am I? It's not Hinckley, admittedly. Very, very close to Hinckley. I wonder if you can get it. And the Aniogram. A cute, nonchalant squad, I tell you. This is, we're looking for a local village with an interesting historic transport feature. And trust me, you know it. And for those of you that have already got the anagram, you'd say that's a good clue, Paul. Absolutely. Got a big debate going on in the chat room at the moment. Dennis Perkins says, this way up on the clock. Dennis, behave now. And Jeff Wallace says, was it Greenwich Mean Time? Look at all this going on. So John Dennis says, I just need the anagram, but you know what John's like. He'll get it. Absolutely every time he's got the TV show, he will get the anagram, because when it does, the picture will go, ooh, smug. Okay, there we go. Right then, Annabelle Man says, you lot are stealing my 6 of the best sillies. I shall have to get creative. There you go. That's it. Now, nosy time. Now, pay attention, everybody. Let's just get everybody. Everybody, pay attention now. Mr. Nosy's in the chat room, and literally just a couple of hours ago, he posted this latest video, and I'm delighted to say, because Steve often said, I've got to come down Hinckley way and do a nosy down there, and he has honoured this in this particular feature as we go off for a nosy with Mr. Nosy in our own backyard. Sit back and enjoy.
This is a bit like, what's that old legend, the sword in the stone? If you pull that out, you become the king of Stony Stanton or something. Hello, hey up and how you diddling? My name is Steve, and once again it's a great big warm welcome from myself to Let's Explore. Right, as you can see behind me today, I've got this great big expanse of water. We're indeed down at Stony Stanton, at Stony Cove for today's video. Now, this once humongous quarry actually started life as 2 quarries. Top Quarry and Lanes Hill Quarry, of course, but they both got that big. Nature of the beast really, that they both got knocked into one, of course. Now, we're down here today not specifically to look at this, because unless we're going to go diving under the water, there's not an awful lot to see. It's a fantastic place. This place has been a well-renowned diving centre since the 1960s. I think there's people below the water as we speak, actually. It's just started tipping it down. Brilliant, eh? But we're actually down here today to look at the old railway that connected this place on to the Birmingham to Leicester, or the South Leicestershire Branch Railway. Now, in the late 1850s, they actually started building the railway from Nuneaton to Hinckley, or Hinckley as it's known. Hinckley's not far from here, by the way, in South West Leicestershire. And then from the early 1860s, I think they actually built the railway from there to Wigston, south of Leicester, enabling these quarries, I'm getting soaked, to actually be put onto the railway to get all this stone away. Now, the old map that you're looking at now, the 1880s map, the railway line isn't actually up to this point yet. It's at the other quarries closer to the railway. But by the early 1900 map, as you're looking at now, we've got a railway line up here by that point, and a tunnel near Carey Hill. Anyway, without any further ado, let's go and have a very wet nosy. Why, oh why? It's been non-stop since October. Come on. Alrighty then, so just before we go and explore what remains of this railway that connected these quarries in Stony Stanton to the South Leicestershire main line, I just want to show you what Lanes Hill Quarry and Top Quarry, which is now Stony Cove, once looked like back in the day. Now look at that, that's amazing, isn't it? That's pretty much a photograph of when the 2 quarries were knocked together. If you look closely there's a bit of a sky tramway, a bit of a sky ropeway, if you know what I'm saying. Can you see that? That's fantastic. So cast your eyes on this for a beast of a photograph of this quarry down at Stony Cove. Now what you're looking at, this is the deepest part of the quarry there. Now look at the centre of the screen. but up slightly to the top you can see a bit of a tramway incline there, can't you? Now watch this, because we've got another epic photo that's zoomed in on this area. You just look at this. Wow, so what an amazing epic photograph this is of what is now Stony Cove, when this was a working quarry. Now we're at the bottom of the incline at this point, and just look at that, we've got horsepower. We've clearly got 2 horses that are being worked here by 2 blokes. So at the bottom of the screen there you've got a horse that looks like it's actually pulling a wagon with a chap. Looks like 2 chaps actually escorting that. Then one to the right that's slightly blurred, of course. Absolutely amazing. Right then, so this railway carried on from what is now Stony Cove through here and down to this Guz Under, we'll call it, and carried on through here, what I've just called a Guz Under. I'll tell you what, we'll call it a little tunnel, shall we? In fact, I'll show you around it, and I'm going to keep bloody sheltered in here. It's tipping it down. There were absolutely no need for that, were there? Yeah, so this then really is a godsend, because it's tipping it down out there. You're actually under this shelter with me and all. I don't want to get my camera wet. But as you can see then, this is more like a little tunnel really. I mean, in reality, it is a bridge. You know, the main road goes over here into the next village, Sapcut, which is right next door to Stony Stanton. But as you can see, this is actually built from the stuff they've actually quarried here. Granite by the looks of it, and well, it would have to be, wouldn't it? It'd be sacrilege to use anything else, really, wouldn't it? Any other stone, it would be sacrilege. But yeah, great, really. Nicely reinforced with this steel work up here. It's a nice little feature, actually. And actually, behind the camera, this is actually now a bit of a road. There's a bit of an overspill car park for Stony Cove behind the camera there. I think the Romans were actually coming here and extracting this stuff. So there must be many Roman roads locally around this area of Leicestershire that have actually got Stony Stanton granite in it. Now, the neighbouring village of Sapcut, there was actually a quarry over yonder as well. The other side of Sapcut, known as Granite Thorpe. Great name for it, isn't it? Granite Thorpe. But I've actually read that Isambard Kingdom Brunel, the great civil engineer that was responsible for the Clifton Suspension Bridge in Bristol, you know, the Great Western Railway, all manner of things railway related and what have you, and bridges. It was a great bridge builder, Isambard Kingdom Brunel. He's actually known to have brought stone from these quarries here, I'm led to believe, which is fantastic. Anyway, let's carry on the nosiness. Right, so where I'm stood now is a bit of an overspill car park for the diving centre at Stony Cove. But as you can see, we've just been stood down there in that. We're going to christen it a tunnel. We're going to call it a tunnel. I'm not going to call it a bridge, and I certainly ain't going to call it a Guz Under. Do you know what I'm saying? We'll call that a tunnel. Fantastic little feature. But it went straight through here, this railway did, and onwards to the mainline railway. Now, we'd better get in here and go and see if there is out to see in this little bit of self-set woodland by the looks of it. Well, actually, it's probably been, it's most likely been planted by the hand of man and women and all that. Do you know what I mean? So we'll have a butcher's. What's this here? Right. Bit of interesting stonework there. Don't know what that's for. Ah, I can see something interesting here. Oh, right then. Got a bit of rail. We have indeed got a bit of rail where you'd expect to find it. Look at that, look. That's interesting. And a bit of a wall as well. Granite built wall. Ah, right. Standard gauge rail here, look. Absolutely fantastic. We love to come across things like that, don't we? Now, always amazes me why we find stuff like this still lying about, because it's worth a lot of money in scrap value, isn't it? But this is interesting here, look, as well. Granite wall, I think that's the line of this railway, isn't it? Can we have a quick look? Can you see it through there where we've just been? Our tunnel. Straight line through pretty much. This might actually, I think this is the cutting down here. That's a bit of a retaining wall by the looks of it. Let's have a look actually. Right, let's investigate this a bit further. So, yeah, looking at this, it looks like it comes straight through here. Yeah, I reckon so. I reckon this is a bit of a retaining wall. There was probably one about here and all, you know. I reckon, yeah, this, for me, this is the railway. The topography's all changed around here. You got to remember, I mean, there's a housing estate here, you know, that's probably 50-year-old, maybe a bit older, late 60s, early 70s, so a little over 50-year-old perhaps. So, you know, when they were building that and digging the foundations out and the main drainage and all that, maybe they've put a lot of spoil over here and filled this bit of a cutting in. I mean, it wouldn't have been a massive cutting at this point, I don't think, judging by the level of that tunnel that we've called it over there. But this is interesting here. I mean, as you'd expect, solid granite. I mean, I tell you what, it's well pointed up still. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the railway didn't run on top of here. I reckon this is it down here. But this here is the remains of a cutting. Just see if I can. How fast is this in the ground? I pulled a muscle playing football on Tuesday night, so I'm struggling with that. I couldn't get it out anyway. Do you know what? If you could move that, it wouldn't even be here. Do you know what I mean? So this is a bit like, what's that old legend? The sword in the stone. If you pull that out, you become the King of Stony Stanton or something. Yeah, fantastic. That beautiful old piece of rail. Bit of moss on it. Laid by Nave a very long time ago. Right. Let's get over to there. Right, so before I went gallivanting off, I thought to myself, I'll check this bit of woodland out at the side of the old railway. I've seen this, couldn't miss it really. Look at that, clump of granite. What's that all about? Then I look a bit closer and I see this, look. Some old rail actually left in that. I really don't know what that's all about. And then, protruding up on the other side, just there, look, another piece of old rail. So we've got to investigate, haven't we? I really don't know what that's about. Shimmy in here, shimmy in here. Yeah, so look at that. Absolutely fantastic. That's exquisite, as they say in northern Albania. Absolutely beautiful, that. Yeah, I like that. I don't know what that's about. A bit of concrete on it as well. We don't like concrete, do we? Horrible stuff. Right. Right, so very interestingly, just over there is what we think is a railway cutting that I was showing you earlier, where that granite wall is. Now, just up here, I've come across this, look, this old structure. Now that, I'm pretty sure, is in someone's garden, so we can't go gallivanting all the way in there for obvious reasons. We can go up to the fence, but of course, as I mentioned earlier, there's an estate here, as you can see. I mean, that's the house that I think this belongs to. I think it's in the garden, but just in case, we're not going in there. Now look at that. So, to me, that looks a hell of a lot older than those houses up there. Now, is that part of this old railway line that comes out of Stony Cove? Well, what is now Stony Cove anyway. Really old corrugated roof, look. The actual woodwork of it's rotting away. So was it something to do, was it some sort of plate layers hut or something like that? You know, the people that maintain this little railway between here and the main line. I really don't know, but for me it's fascinating. I mean, it's clearly rotting away, as you can see. Is it part of their garden? Well, it is now, but it perhaps wasn't originally built as that, so I really don't know, because that is pretty much in line with the railway. I think I'm stood. I think this down here, I think the cutting would have been, do you know what, I'm not sure. I don't know, but that is interesting. I don't know. We have a choice of paths to take here. There's a fork in the road. Well, you can either go up there or you can go here. Welcome to the Arboretum. Wasn't that a Guns N' Roses song? Something like that, wasn't it? Welcome to the Arboretum. No, it's more like Welcome to the Jungle, I think. But I think, yeah, cutting. Got a bank here coming down. It's hard to make out on camera, isn't it? All this, whatever cutting was here, has been long filled in. Probably when they built these houses over here, to be honest with you. I imagine, because they actually, I think, stopped quarrying operations in this village in 1958. I'm not 100% certain on that. I think that was Stony Cove anyway, 1958. So we'll carry on up here. Anyway, oh, they are. For those of you that are part of the Railway Fence Post Fanatics Club, There you go. Don't say I don't look after you. Right. Right then, so you'll have to use your imagination a bit here. So this here is roughly where the tunnel was that goes beneath Carey Hill Road. It was only a short tunnel. Now, as you can see on the map now, that is roughly where I'm stood. And that now where the arrow is the other side of the tunnel. But as you can see, there isn't really a trace of it here now at all. It's pretty much gone. I mean, I'm sure if you come down here with a job lot of your mates and a load of shovels and pickaxes and wheelbarrows, you would indeed find it eventually, but we can't do that. I don't want to get my collar felt. Do you know what I'm saying? But as you can see now, you're looking at an amazing photograph of the quarry on the other side, which is now filled in. I'll show you in a minute. Now that is Carey Hill Quarry. Now, there's the tunnel again, where the arrow is, the other side of the tunnel, the northern portal of it. But look at the railway line it was on. It was really high up on a bit of a cliff. It looked really precarious to me. I mean, it probably looks worse than what it is, to be honest with you. But ain't that an amazing photograph? What do you reckon to that then? Incredible, isn't it? Stop right there, my lad. Don't go any further, because look at this beauty. What we've got here is a photograph courtesy of Mr. Paul Wright of Carey Hill Tunnel. Now, Paul got in touch with me a couple of weeks back, and actually we've got him to thank partially for this video, because if it wasn't for him getting in touch, we wouldn't have made this video for this weekend. I've been planning this video for quite some time, but it's one of them that I've not got round to yet for one reason or another. And because he reached out to me and sent me not only this photograph of Carey Hill Tunnel, but the one before of that granite-sided cutting that we've just been looking at earlier in the video, I probably wouldn't have made this video this weekend. So if you're watching, Paul, thank you very much for these photos and the information, buddy. Means a lot. Anyway, let's carry on. But what we'll do now, we'll trip it over. We'll get over there and we'll show you what it looks like today, because it's a complete far cry from what it used to be. Trust me. It's amazing how things change, isn't it, in life? It really is. It really is. So we've just been down there. So this is where the southern portal of this tunnel would have been. Only a short tunnel, because you've got the road here and it literally came out just the other side of that fence. Now in there, that big green field, that used to be Carey Hill Quarry. Unbelievable. It's completely filled in now, landfill. We'll take you over here. It's quite interesting because they obviously put a lot of public waste in here, and you know, with landfill, what they have to do when they're finished with it, they have to pipe it up. I don't know if you can see all that. There's there's one there, look, there's pipes everywhere, and that's to get rid of the poisonous gases that are within here. Now the tunnel would have come out, I think, just down here, somewhere in this vicinity. And I'll show you again while we're here. See that ridge there? That's the railway at the side of this. And it looks to me like it's on quite a precarious cliff. Looks a bit scary, enough to make you fret. You know what I mean? But yeah, you wouldn't believe now looking at that, would you? What used to be here. Again, look at that photograph again. Unbelievable. Incredible. But what's very interesting, so just up there, you've got the Church of St Michael, look. Now, just to that side of the church, there's another little tunnel. Well, it takes New Road in the village centre pretty much over it, but let's call it a little tunnel, a little goes under. Do you know what I mean? And as you can see on that photograph now, that is it. But believe it or not, you can still see the top of it. Let's go and have a nosy. Right then, so this is going to test my professionalism now, speaking in public with all these cars going by. But just look at this. This is indeed the top of a bit of a small tunnel portal, as you can see. It goes from granite here and then goes to Blue Engineering brickwork. That is indeed the top of the portal. And what it did, you've actually got the quarry on the other side of this wall here. So the main line that came from where Stony Cove is now passed underneath here, and I've got to try and get over the road. I've picked the worst time of the day to film here, to be fair. Look left, look right and all that. It came under the road here, and just here, look at this. You've got to use your imagination now. So just here then, I'd be standing in a railway cutting, because just to the left of you now, my right, that's the portal what I've just been showing you across the road on New Road here. And see that there, look, you've actually got the top of another portal. Fantastic. Yeah, so use your imagination again. There'd be a cut in here, same as the word behind there. It bent through underneath on the Carey Hill quarry side and then came down here under the road again, and there are a bit of a railway sidings, as you can see now on the old maps. Absolutely fantastic that this is here. Another the top of another portal. Unfortunately, there's not one across the road. Now, just up there alongside the church, I think there was another. I'm not sure, because actually, as you're looking at the map now, this one obviously, of course, goes beneath the road. But just on that side of this, it looks like there was actually a level crossing, unless it's a misprint. I'm not sure, that went up to that one, which is interesting, isn't it? Right, so courtesy of Paul Wright once again, what we've got here is an astounding photograph once again. Now, this photo can actually be seen in an area of this village known as Knockverges, right next to New Road, where I've just been recording showing you the tops of these portals. Now then, that first portal that I've shown you, this short tunnel that goes beneath New Road, this is it, prior to construction. Now, you've got a job lot load of blokes here, navvies. Now, I'm assuming these blokes actually worked in the quarries at Stony Stanton. I imagine so, but they've put all this shoring up, look, to hold the sides up, prior to the bricklayers coming in, or masons, to actually build this short tunnel that goes under New Road. That is an incredible photograph, folks. We're so blessed to be able to have this on the video. Now, this was taken between 1890 and 1900, I think. I'm not quite sure on the date. Now, to the top left there, you can actually see a steam locomotive as well. Amazing. In fact, speaking of steam locomotives, I'm going to show you some amazing photographs now of some of the actual engines that were used on this short railway between what is now Stony Cove and the main line, including some of the actual siding that actually joins the main line. So I hope you enjoy these are fantastic. Right, so one quarry that we've not spoken about yet in Stony Stanton is Clint Hill Quarry. Now, just like Stony Cove, this one is full of water. Now, Stony Cove, all these quarries at Stony Stanton, they struggled with water because of natural springs. That's why they've ended up filling up the way they have, apart from Carey Hill, of course, that was filled in with landfill. But there's not an awful lot to see of Clint Hill apart from the wet stuff. But there's a fantastic little story about it. Now, many years ago, in 1910, there was a pub that fell into Clint Hill. Now, I think the quarry was actually known as Bottom Quarry back then. And in 1910, there was a pub there called the Frank's Arms Pub, and it disappeared into Clint Hill Quarry due to a hell of a lot of rainfall that they'd had. Now, look at this photograph here. This is another amazing photograph. Fantastic this is. Look at this. Right then, so just look at these pair here, will you? What an amazing photograph this is. Now, I'm assuming this is the day after that the Frank's Arms pub disappeared into the bottom of Clint Hill Quarry due to a hell of a lot of rainfall. Actually, later on, the Francis Arms pub was built to replace this one. Of course, this disappearing into this hole in 1910. Now, I think the Frank's Arms, you know, I reckon the chap that ran it or leased it actually moved out a day before this happened, so it could have been really tragic, this could, you know. Absolutely incredible story, this. But these pair here, they're abseiling down the side, look. I love to think they're descending down into the deep, dark depths of this old quarry, you know, to actually fetch out some barrels of ale. That's what I love to think anyway. They're probably hoping with the clear up, to be honest with you. But what amazing history in southwest Leicestershire, in this little village of Stony Stanton, eh? Absolutely amazing. What I'm going to do now, because there ain't a lot to see of Clinthill Quarry apart from a hell of a lot of the wet stuff, I'm going to show you some equally fantastic, amazing, astounding photographs of when this place was a working quarry. Check these out. So this here then is St Michael's Church, and I imagine when you look at it, looks typical of what you find in Stony Stanton, to be honest with you. I mean, what that's built of most likely came out of the ground here, to be honest with you. But I've got a little challenge. Now, what you're looking at now on that old Ordnance Survey map, can you see that black arrow that the purple arrow is pointing to? Well, that's a surveyor's benchmark. So I'm expecting on the corner over there, there's going to be, hopefully, touch wood, a surveyor's benchmark. I love looking for them, so we'll see if we can find it. Right. Ah, and there it is. Look at that. Fantastic. Amazing. So most of these Ordnance Survey maps that you look at, the old ones, when you see a church on it, you know, you'll always usually see an old surveyor's benchmark on it, and I'm fascinated by them. You find them on old bridges, down random country lanes, all over the Ocker, on the corners of really old houses. Yeah, fantastic. I love to see them. I love to come across them. Right, well, unfortunately, that concludes today's video. I really hope you've enjoyed this today. I really hope I've done it justice. Now, there's not an awful lot left to see in Stony Stanton anymore. Well, you've got them great big holes all over the Ocker, ain't you? The old quarries, but, well, they're all full of water now, and one of them's filled in, isn't it? To be fair. But I really hope you've enjoyed this video today. We've had bits and bobs to look at. I think it's been interesting, but we couldn't have done it really without the old photographs. I think they've really done this one justice. And I just really want to thank Paul Wright, who got in touch with me a couple of weeks back, sent me an amazing picture of that tunnel, of course, and that kind of gave me the kick up the backside that I needed to get over here and make the video, because the long and short of it is, in a nutshell, I was working down the road in Sapkot in 2016. I always remember the date because it was the year that the mighty Leicester City won the Premier League, of course. But I used to come up here sometimes, the weather were nice, and at break times, I knew what used to be here. And I used to come and walk up here, I used to come under here. I actually missed that rail at the time. Maybe there was stuff growing over it, ivy and what have you at the time, and I missed it. But I used to walk round here and I didn't think there was an awful lot to see. But I didn't know about those photographs back then, and I certainly didn't even have a YouTube channel in 2016, did I? That started in 2020. But if you did enjoy this video, please like, subscribe and share. And I'll be seeing you. You can bet your last imaginary quid I'll be seeing you very soon at the next one. Take care of yourself and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye-bye. Hello. What? Are you nosy as well? Hey, are you nosy?
They don't come much better than that one now, do they? Well done, Steve. A very good nose there, to say the very, very least. Really, really good. In fact, I thought you was going to show us the Norman arch with the on the church. You probably wouldn't have known that, but there is a Norman arch with a slot in. On the side of the church as well. But anyway, I digress. Listen, great video. Nice to see it. And of course, as I was saying in the chat room, I didn't know whether Steve had seen the video from Stony Stanton in the 1960s, showing that quarry still full of water, and that guy saying this would make a nice place to bring your boats and stuff. Well, of course, later on, Stony Cove took up that cudgel. But there we go. Great. Thank you, Steve. Much appreciated. Great nosy for a Sunday evening. Our time together is almost upon us to say goodbye, but of course we've got 6 of the best yet to do. So before we start, and you get that big wave of smugness all over you for a Sunday evening, just remember, please don't put your answers to questions up until we get to the question. Do you understand? So if I'm doing question 2, don't give them the answer for question 5, because it confuses the chat room. Then they don't know who's doing what, and then people nick your answers and claim it as theirs. I know how they work, just how I used to do. Okay, here we go. Yes, Steve, I'll send you a picture of that little arch with the slot in. I will send you a picture later on, matey. I will do that. Okay, 6 of the best time. Here we go then, ladies and gentlemen. Please sit tight, and as we go along, question number 1. I want to see if anybody can tell me what are the words on the clock face of Sapcut Church. Here we go. Here comes... Here. I'll tell you what's on there. It's called The Smugness Is Coming. No, it's not. John Denny, you might know. He's got it right. The hour is coming. And as I said to you, it's very apt for what you'd find on a church clock face. Actually, the hour is coming. I can tell you that there used to be a church, there was a church at Burley Marsh whose clock face used to say, my dear mother, or my dearest mother, in place of the numbers. Long time ago, but that's how old I am. So if you got that out, which it only looks like John Denny, can you feel that smugness? It's pushing me off my seat here. Well done, John. Absolutely. Next time you go past Sapcut Church, have a look. You'll see. Yes, the hour is coming. Question number 2. So what country has the most islands in the world? Yeah. So what country has the most islands in the world? Now, this did surprise me. I'm going to see if Jeff Wallace is going to come. Look, smugness strikes again. This is Google as well, surely. Yeah. John Danny says Sweden. Says Jan Kirby, Sweden. Jeff, what? Yeah, if you put Sweden, you are absolutely correct. Did you know over 220,000 islands belong to Sweden? No, you see, you're going to learn something, you see. Seriously, over 220,000 islands belong to Sweden. Never would have thought it. But of course, those in the know, like Jeff Wallace, and of course, Mr. Smugly, he just makes it up as he goes along anyway. Yeah. Good evening, Carol Sacconi, by the way. I see that you're with us tonight. Nice that you're there. Right, on to question number 3. Oh, stop clapping now. Yeah, stop. Right, find the words. This was a sci-fi, children's sci-fi thing from the 1970s and probably into the 80s. I don't know, but certainly the 70s. Look at Smug. Look at Smug go. Look at him go. Well done, John. If you've got the tomorrow people, you would be right. So Jan's got it right along with John. Annabelle said the unknown answer in the mind of Annabelle. Yes, never mind. Moving on to number 4. Will you stop clapping? Into this one. This was the year we're looking for when Britain and Argentina restored full diplomatic relations. Death of Del Shannon and Mike Tyson got knocked out. But what is the year that this was. Let's see how many of you get it right. John Denny comes in with an answer, so does David Allen and Jeff Wallace, along with Kevin Beasley and Jan Kirby, get the correct year of 1990. Annabelle Mann is far out of it. It's not even happened yet. She's put 2024. Silly girl. So there we go. Correct answer being 1990. Oh, yes, and David Stamp says tomorrow, people, too. Now, will you stop clapping? Let us click on this window here. That's better. Right, where am I? I'm somewhere in Hinckley. Well, I'm not in Hinckley. I'm very close to Hinckley, and I'm sure... Here comes the smug. Stand by. Here comes the smug. Oh, Jan Kirby. John Denny got it right. It's the entrance to Stony Cove. And I thought, oh, my word, they'll probably see this in Steve's video. But he didn't show this bit, so thank you, Steve. But no, there you go. It is the entrance to Stony Cove. And the clue I gave you, it's the entrance to a different world. You see, if you listen to me, you do get these clues. Yeah. John said it was in the nosy. Yeah, but I wasn't shouting it about, Mr. Smugly. Yeah. Okay. Even Mr. Smug. Steve said, even I know that one. Yep. Good. Right. Okay, then. So now... we'll move on to the Aniogram. A cute, nonchalant squad, the clue being it's a local village with an interesting historic transport feature. And it's true, and it's not far away. And the answer is from Jan Kirby, and from John Denny, and from Dennis Perkins, and Jeff Wallace, the Shenton Canal Aqueduct. Yeah, there you go. See? The clues are always there. My problem is I make them too easy. Okay, you folks, give us your answers. Let's give us your totals then. If you'd be so kind, give us your totals. And let's see how many people have got 6 tonight. I've got a feeling I've just been hit by a big smug. 6. I'm sure I have, yeah. Jan Kirby said 5 for me. Alan Kropp said only 1 for us tonight. Alan, you've really got to concentrate more. Annabelle's got 7. Well done. John Denny, I said I felt a real heavy smug come across there. Yeah. John, congratulations, John. 6 tonight. Well done. Kevin Beasley, just 1 tonight. Jeff Wallace has got 3. And just 1 for Dennis. Dennis, I'm surprised. Sometimes I think, oh, he'll know that. He'll know that. Well done to David Allen, who's got 2 tonight. Carol says 1. And Carol Beasley, zilch. But it's having a go. It's having a go that makes it worthwhile. Yeah. And Queen Bee says, only 2. Right, okay. And John Kirby says, Alan, were you on the same cruise as me around the islands? Just carry on chatting, doesn't matter. Anyway, seriously, a quick reminder, by the way, about a Wednesday night. Don't forget, it's our biggest night of the year. Please be there, because you deserve to see exactly what, where we distribute the HDPP monies to. It's very important to us that you see that. And as I say, we're dishing up I think it was just over £4,000 on the night, aren't we, Mrs. G? I think it is, or thereabouts. Yeah, thereabouts. But you'll hear all the explanation about that, So well, I'm looking forward to seeing you, Sue, and the rest of the team seeing you there at the Greyhound, like I say. And also, don't forget, we'll also have the tickets for the Sellers Night and the Disco Night. We'll have those with us as well. You just go see Sue or Steph, and they will sort that out for you. Okay. Now then, Dave B said, of course, the Quacky Duck. Now, he's obviously been on the extra strong cider, because I don't know what's And Alan Kropp says that Marie thought it was Norway that had got all those islands. No, you see. David Stamper said, I've only got 1 tonight, but listen, David, it's taking part. Like I always say, it's taking part and having fun. And that's what we try and do here at HDPP. And it has been a great night. We've had a great nosy. And it's time. Here come the apologies. Alan and Mike there at another meeting. You see, they've had a better offer. It's a good job, because I thought I got a job for Mike to do, seriously, but I've got it sorted. Anyway, there we go then. Well, we can all talk about them on the night. It's there. It's their loss, isn't it? And we'll be back next Sunday night at 7:30. Once again, 6 of the best. Another great nosy of some description. It might be a vintage one next week. And we'll find more London call-ins and more local features. That's what HDPP is all about on a Sunday night. HDPP Live. I hope you can join me next week. I hope to see you on Wednesday night. Until then, take care. Ta-da! You lot, you're terrible, you know, you really are. Getting me into bad habits doing these dad jokes all the time. But I know you like them. I know that you like them because those of you that know to hang on it right at the very end of every broadcast, we always do a few dad jokes. And tonight being no exception, we'd like to send you off to bed with a little chortle, a bit of a laugh, a bit like looking at the old man in his pyjamas. Yeah, I know, it's so funny, isn't it? So if you're all ready, and if I've got my little friend in the corner ready to laugh, you ready? Because pay you good money to do that laugh. Absolutely. So here we go. Just a few quick ones. What kind of lights did Noah use on his ark? Floodlights. Good one to start with, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. What time does Andy Murray arrive at Wimbledon? Oh, about tennis. Why don't cannibals eat clowns? Well, because they taste funny. I like this next one. I tried to remarry my ex-wife, but she figured out I was only after my money. I tried to eat a clock for my lunch, but it was very time-consuming. And one more. What do you call a herd of sheep tumbling down a hill? A landslide. Take care, we'll see you soon. Good night.